Well, we're mixing it up today at a different spot again. Let's see if who knows, maybe we'll be able to spook up a bear one of these times or something, right? Okay, listen to this one. Here's an email from a military guy from Alberta, and I seem to be getting a lot more emails from the military guys in Canada, and for all you guys that have emailed me, I appreciate it. We'll get to it for sure. And for all you guys thinking about emailing and hesitating, just let her rip and do it. All right, all it's doing is helping people. Now, hi Steve, my name is Jim Runge. Runge. I'm ex-military and been in combat in Bosnia and Herzegovina, but what I experienced in Alberta in 1992 I'll never forget. I'm an avid hunter and hiker and been in Alberta, Saskatchewan, Ontario, and a couple other provinces. I loved hunting along the forestry trunk road in Alberta from Caroline to Rocky Mountain House. My friend and I set up around 20 or 30 stands between 1991 and 92 to bow hunt. My brother introduced me to Corkscrew Mountain and loved the area. There was elk, whitetail, and mule deer. We put up tree stand on these huge pines with an overlap of 3 feet so no bear could climb it. When I hunted this area, I stayed at 7 Mile Campground, which back then was a compound with 10-foot high chain link fence and barbed wire facing outward to keep grizzly bears out, which were very common back in the early 80s. So camping there was a breeze. Well, that's cheating, isn't it? So camping there was a breeze, and it had cattle gate, camping there was a breeze. It had a cattle gate which no animal could cross. It was my first night there. I always hunted alone because of a happening years ago, which I'll tell you about another time. It was about 10 p.m. When I went to bed about 2:30, I was awoke by a noise and remember opening my eyes and seeing the tent being pushed down on me. I always used a Timberline 6-man tent, and the side wall was being pushed down on me. I was so terrified that I froze trying to take everything in. As it was being depressed on me, I yelled out, "Get out of here." I heard something walking away. My rifle was in the truck, so I quickly hurried to the truck and grabbed my rifle and started the truck. I turned on the headlights and drove in a circle to see what it was, but there was nothing. I remember that I was so terrified that I froze, but the rest of the night I slept in the truck and broke camp the next morning. I've been chased back to my truck by wolves and a few other stories, but to this day I have not hunted that area. I don't know what it was, but it was big. I bet it could put 3 of my hands together to make one of that thing's hands. I've never believed in Bigfoot, but after that experience, I do, because there was no other explanations for this. I have a few hunting stories I'll tell you later. I've never told this to anyone till now, because in the combat arms trade, you don't show your weakness, but my legs were like jello after that. Thank you for your honesty and perseverance. Hoorah. And hoorah to you. And thank you for your service, and thank you for that email. And don't feel like it's a weakness, man. It's just one of those unfortunate things that so many of us share. It is absolutely just silly. And that reminds me, a lot of people will wonder how something like that got in the fence, the barbed wire. And that reminds me of a conversation that I had with a very intelligent man, with some very, very high security credentials in the U.S. And I'll just tell you a little portion of this conversation I was having a while back. And he shared with me that he was in a state where the land is quite flat and very little cover, prairie-ish. And he was at a armed nuclear missile silo where the missiles are underground. And the majority of the crew is, I think he said, 85 feet underground. And I know you're listening to this right now, and I appreciate all of your emails you've been sending me. And I know, anyway, and I'll carry on with this story. And what he said was there was a young man in the kitchen on the above ground building, which was surrounded by the same deal. 10-foot tall chain link fence with 3 strands of barbed wire on the top facing out. No way to get in there. And what he said was the young man went to go get a drink of water or something in the kitchen, and they heard a dish, something breaking, and they went in there and his coffee mug was smashed on the floor and he was standing with his jaw agape looking at the window, which was, I think he said it was 9 feet off the ground or 10 feet off the ground. And this young man, who obviously passed every single high-level security test there is to be able to work at an armed nuclear missile silo. And he said there was a large, hairy figure, monster-type being staring in the window at him. And that's when he dropped his coffee mug. And they went out there and they found the footprints and no being. No bend in the fence, no point of entry, no nothing. But they found the footprints on the ground from where this thing stood inside that fenced off area and stared in the window. How do you explain that one? Don't ask me. Haven't a clue. But I'll tell you what. There's been a few different people who are emailing me and having conversations with me and telling me about numerous episodes that have gone on at U.S. military installations, and as well numerous places where there are armed nuclear missiles in the ground. Go figure. And majority of these episodes are absolutely unexplainable, but let's face it, there probably is somebody out there who can explain it, and they're not giving it up. So, but there you go. Again, you're not alone. You're not alone in your experience. There's other people having the exact same experiences happen. That also reminds me of another story I heard firsthand from the community that I live in. These young guys are telling me about a party that was going on at Birkenhead Lake. And Birkenhead Lake is where there is numerous ongoing experiences today with residents there, as well people who have summer cabins there. And as well, a person who used to be a caretaker on those grounds shared with me numerous experiences and encounters of these things at Birkenhead Lake Estates, which is not too far away from where I live. And as the story goes, these young people were having a party at the campground. One of them wasn't feeling so shit hot and went and laid down just inside the trees from the camp circle, and he said a huge hand came down and touched him on the chest and shook his chest. And it absolutely terrified him. And there you go. I just remembered that. I recalled that experience shared with me after you shared the detail of that great big hand coming down and pressing right through the tent. And you know what? That's obviously everybody's worst nightmare, right? But there you go. If you have an experience similar to the one I just read, or any of the ones I just read, and if these are helping you, and you want to share your experience, I'll put up the emails up here again. It's sharemystory@howtohunt.com and tellmystory@howtohunt.com. And I would pleading with all of you who are emailing me to not seek out all of my email addresses and email the exact same email to all three of them, okay? It's just clogging up everything I got, and it's potentially blocking other people who only email me once, and it's not quite fair to them. And if you emailed me, it will be getting read, okay? So you only got to do it once. So I'm just going to plead with you guys, the people that are doing this, stop emailing me the same email to all of my emails, okay? It's just clogging it up, and it's causing more grief than not. But I do appreciate you emailing me, just to let you know. We'll definitely get to it for sure. But anyway, I'm going to carry on down the road, hit up another spot. I'm slowly trying to make my way home from a week here on the west coast of Vancouver Island, and I'll dig up in my notes and find some more to share with all of you before I get home, because I got to take off for a few weeks shortly. So I'm going to get a bunch of these recorded and loaded on the YouTube channel to keep all you informed.